I'm still hoping so bad that we could get some form of devil lore hierarchy stuff kind of soon. Because the devil heart has been a big question mark for me since the twins. Because Zagrid had it, and I thought, okay, maybe that's just something that devils have. But then, like, Megicula had it, Xenon now has it. It's clear that the devil heart itself is something significant. Because when Xenon was talking to Beelzebub, he specifically said that he wanted a devil's heart. So clearly the devil's heart is by itself something that has general value, because even when he like got stronger and he got this higher end form, it seems like he's become a devil. He mentions that like, oh well, now that I have a devil's heart, I'm tremendously more powerful. So it's like, if that's the case, then is the devil's heart a hierarchy like tier indicator? Like maybe only devils of a certain floor and rank at that point are able to obtain one, because Asta cut Nama right down the middle. And the thing that I assume that Xenon's gonna have, at least maybe to a degree, I guess this is gonna depend a little bit, is regeneration, because Megicula and Zagrid both had a way to heal themselves after any form of damage, and that might just be something obviously to them, but with the whole Devil's Heart thing, it's clear that like you have to destroy the Devil Heart in order to defeat a devil who has said Devil Heart. So I feel like with Xenon, he could probably either just do some like, filling the hole with bone, like just kind of like gloss it over if he really wanted to. I don't see why he needs to, considering the hole in his chest right now is literally just a hole. There's nothing else kind of doing it. Like, it's just there. There's nothing right now, this to him is like somebody who pierced their ears. It's just like a hole in their body. There's no damage. There's no negative that like it existing really does for him. But like him talking to Beelzebub, I really like seeing interactions like that, because it's cool to see things like that we've seen from Asta multiple times throughout the series, or seeing it from some other characters' perspectives. Like we saw it with Dante and Lucifaro briefly. I wonder why we never got it with Megicula and Vonica the same way. I don't know. Like Tabata has like this weird thing. Like it's clear that he likes Xenon and he's doing stuff with Xenon, and I'm unsure if he's going to end up salvaging Dante, because like Dante, I like Dante. I think Dante still has the potential to be like a really good character, but obviously right now, speaking in real time, Dante's not looking too good. Granted, that's in the current status of things. This might be part of Tabata's plan. Either way, right now he's got potential. We don't really know where that's going to go. Xenon clearly is being lifted up a bit by Tabata. And Vonica, I don't really know. Like, he never seemed to really fuck with Vonica, honestly, too much. Because even before Dante got a little down bad, like, he had, like, a lot of really good dialogue lines. He's got some of the best fights. And, like, the Dante versus Asta and Yami is, like, honestly, I think it might be the best fight in the whole series, at least currently. Especially, like, in the anime. Like, it was the whole thing was amazing. And here we're seeing... One thing I just wanted to say, like, is, we need to figure out what the deal is with Tabata and, like, because, like, the anime team, and, like, since the Spade arc, has been in the mud real bad. He's been suffering, and it's not like, is guaranteed to, like, just wreck everybody, but, like, man, he's had a rough time since the time skip. Prior to the time skip, like, dude's rolling out on people. Maybe that's what Tabata is going for. The super prodigy rival guy's just having some bad times. Sometimes bad things happen to him. I have seen some people say kind of like how the billets from Berserk, maybe the four-leaf clovers, though it trades. Like, you get power, but, like, that luck can kind of, like, double-edged sword you pretty fiercely. Either way, him getting the Devil's Heart, him seeing, like, the stuff with Alan. I'm guessing that, like, the part with Alan, it was, like, he already had to sacrifice so much to get to where he's at, so like giving up more for him is just like whatever kind of thing. Like Xenon doesn't seem to be like a materialistic person or have much to like in his own personal stakes. It's more of just like gaining his power, climbing the ranks of his goal, and doing whatever he like his whole position is designed for, whatever he has in mind to gain. My favorite thing actually honestly about this form is in his primary horns, like is the ones that he first had. One, the design, I like that they're symmetrical and even now. But also, I love the horns coming out of the top, so he's got, like, antlers. I think that's really cool. That's definitely my favorite thing about this form. The tail looks really cool. I like the bone armor. And obviously, like, I've always been a fan of the fact that he's got, like, the bones in his wings. But, like, something about the antlers just looks fantastic. I'm a big fan of that. I guess that's because like I really like the unconventional horn style. Like, what was the one that went up against Noct, like Lucifugus or whatever? Like his like weird X horn. I really like that as well. But Xenon ends up coming out, and in this new form, he's like become an actual full devil, and he mentions that could have killed him if he aimed for his heart, but ended up peering over from it and, to save Langris, so Langris didn't die, and, put that shot right directly in his chest. Man, if his ability with the arrow was like my theory, it's like, oh, well, maybe because, wind manipulation, he can just control it mid-flight. If that was the case, this fight would have been over. It would have been good. Maybe he should have focused on some form of aspect of the arrow other than being extremely fast. Either way, at this point, Xenon just overpowers him and just kind of like puts in a box. It's definitely like the whole beloved by mana thing. I really want to know how it works. I'm guessing it has to have kind of like a thing like anti-magic where it's like OP level of mana kind of like take over. It has to have a certain level. Like, it's not like he can just do that to anything. Whereas, like, clearly Xenon at the current state of things is just like, nope, and he puts the box over Actually, I want to go look at real quick at the chapter when he first used that box, because it looks slightly different with, like, the little markings coming out the side. So I'm just going to real quick, I think it was like 236, 238 or something at the chapter when he ended up losing to Xenon. I'm just going to have to check mid-review right now, because I want to know if it's just slightly different. It opened it up. Yeah, it's slightly different. It's got like these little lines on the side. I wonder what the significance of those lines are. If it's just maybe like a, absolute space box plus. But he ends up putting the box around, puts bones from all sides. One thing from that kind of confuses me, and obviously it's not like Yuno's not like Yuno's not invincible. He's not like, he's not perfect. But I was wondering, like, with the bones coming from all sides, why didn't he just do like an all-around attack? I'm thinking of something kind of like Aang when he goes in the avatar state way later and he has that air sphere around him, because like with air manipulation, and can fly, so he can clearly manipulate the wind around him like in full, like enough to go up. He should have just like stop at the halberd and just go in a big spinning torrent, kind of like obviously with the whole mana zone from Langris, just like a bubble. He doesn't have to hold up the entire thing, but maybe at least to get away. But he's getting skewered up. He's not lasting against all these bone spikes that are just piercing him up and giving him jabs. And he's looking down. To be fair, though, like, he has the, currently at least, hardest looking fight. Because with the twins were messing around a lot. And then Asta, anti-magic, Devil Union, was able to take advantage of that. It's similar to what we've seen throughout the series. Like, when characters don't take the main character and their OP main character power seriously enough, it's going to get them in a bad spot. Especially right after they get a new form and stuff like that. Twins were just not smart in their fight at all. So, like, though the numbers were different against that match, the character's mindset was different. Because with the twins, they messed around way too much and then it cost them the fight. Similar to what happened with Dante and Magna, but the difference between them, Bonica, and Xenon is a straightforward business. Like, he's ready to kill his opponent. He's going to skewer up, poke him full of holes, and end the match. Because he's not about messing around too much. He's got stuff to do, and he's got a job to get done. So with him, it just shows like how the personality in a fight can really determine how things can go. When you again look at someone like Dante, who could have ended Magna immediately but didn't, and it cost them, whereas like Xenon is ending the fight as like at any opportunity he can, so he can go back to what he's doing. But when you look at the fights, like obviously, like I said, like the twins, their mentality is what screwed him over. With Magicula, with Vonica, it was like, yeah, you also had the whole fact Charlotte was helping lower the curse power and stuff, but like the obvious big matchup there was Magicula, whereas like here the actual big matchup is Devil Heart Xenon. So when you look at like Magicula out, you have Noelle, Rill, Charlotte, Gaja, Luck, Asta to a degree, Nozel coming in. There's way more factors in that fight, way more people aiding Noelle, and just it's way more of a big group fight, where right now it's just and Langris. And Langris, for the most part, is just being a support. And his support, though useful, isn't this even close to, like, what Charlotte or Rill were doing. Like, they had a way more diverse set of, like, and, like, in Charlotte's case, like, way more of a direct, on-point kind of, like, level of support by weakening Vonica and Magicula. And then, obviously, like, Rill's capabilities, like, Rill having the whole Valhalla boost and invincibility spell and like making his minions. Everybody had way more kind of like diverse set of abilities, whereas like for the most part Langris is just kind of like he's pretty much being like a good shield for to kind of build up the whole Spirit of Euros kind of spell. But like outside of that, like just kind of like buying time, though useful, isn't as useful as like looking at what the support the other characters were giving. So I know Finral shows up, and that's like +1 person, but like Finral there doesn't really tell me how they're going to shift the tide of things. Because like when Noelle showed up, obviously like that's Noelle, like Noelle and Gaja. We knew she had Undine, we knew she had something up her sleeve. We thought it'd be Ultimate Magic, but Saint Stage and stuff, and then obviously Noelle coming in. There needs to be more people, because with Finral just kind of adds like a high-end level of movement and kind of like CC map control kind of character. Like he's a really good support, but obviously he can't fight. The only thing I was actually wondering of what Finral could do, and it's something that I was now thinking back of why Noct didn't do it, is why didn't Noct take one of the twins to one location, maybe like take them to a bunch of the captains and stuff, or somebody, just kind of separate them. Because like something that obviously like Finral could do, but it doesn't really matter because specifically Xenon can teleport long distances, is like what if, like say instead Xenon or Finral was fighting Vonica and he did the angel flapping, he just sent her like to the edge of the country and just kind of like bought time for like everybody. Because like thinking about it, if they had to all stay within the circle, Finral could teleport them like way further away, like teleport them like between the border between the Spade and either the Clover or the Heart or something, and then just took out one of the people within the whole ritual, like something like that. Obviously, like with Xenon though, Xenon can just teleport back. But with Finral in the fight, I was more curious as to like how Finral was participating in the fight and like exactly what he was doing. But it's because his whole angel flapping wing, or whatever the spell is called, I can't remember off the top of my head. It's like angel flapping wing beat or whatever. Because of that one, the little balls, like it's going to instantaneously teleport people on contact, but he's got his hand on Langris, so he's immediately applying an instantaneous teleport. So though Xenon is fast, like we know Finral's always shown throughout the series that very fast reaction speed, and then just instantaneous teleporting, he's keeping Langris away, but I don't really know what that's going to accomplish in the long run, because though it can keep Langris and him, from getting hit, and then hopefully they can grab and stuff, what is that really going to do for them in the actual scale of the fight? Because this whole fight is happening, because like one thing that like people were worried is obviously like Asta showing up and helping. Though I love Asta team up matches, this is not the time for that. This fight is happening like during the Magicula fight, so Asta and them can't show up because he's on his way over there and participating over there. There are still other people, like we could have Charmy show up. Obviously, a lot of people think Charmy might show up to help. We could get Patry to show up. I think Patry would be the coolest one, because Patry could definitely help turn the spot like pretty hard, because he's got Demon Light that he can use, so he can definitely damage Xenon, but also he's just outright a pretty powerful character. Maybe Riot could show up. I assume he's gonna have ultimate magic, so like he can just drop that on Xenon and hopefully have like a really good spot. I'm trying to figure out like what otherwise they could really do, because doesn't have the knowledge of Saint Stage, and I feel like dropping Saint Stage on after giving him Boreas and Euros in the same fight would be a little bit weird. I kind of want Xenon to win and then have a reason to leave, and then maybe starts to figure out, like maybe like once they regroup, gets healed and he learns about Saint Stage, and he maybe like seeks out Patry, and then Patry kind of teaches him some aspects of it, and then he can design a Saint Stage form or a Saint Stage weapon. I don't really know, because with Yuno's spot is really weird, because Yuno's getting like a bunch of new things, but his spirit stuff is more of weapons, whereas Saint Stage is like a... Saint Stage isn't even really like a new form. It's like a buff to an old form. Because Valkyrie Dress and Saint Stage... or was it Saint Valkyrie Dress? Like, it's literally just a... Yeah, take this buff and then put it on top of it. It's kind of like going from Super Saiyan 1 to... I guess it'd be more, I guess, like... Super Saiyan... What's like the Super Saiyan blue with like the red... the Kaioken versus like Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3. It's not like a full new form. It's more of just like an additional ability stacked up on it. I kind of would prefer it if Yuno's Saint Stage would be a buffed weapon. I'd be perfectly fine with a new form, but I mean, like, I feel like Yuno doesn't really need a new form. I think his Saint Stage being maybe a slightly tweaked form, but primarily as a weapon would be way cooler. I'm still hoping bow. I'm gonna forever sit on the using a bow train rather than a sword. Though I do like his halberd. Halberd is cooler than sword but once we get back to this fight, it looks like there's a break next week. I didn't see anything about a break until like I went to go to the chat, but it says 2 weeks. That looks like there's gonna be no chapter next week. So I mean, it's a good place to have a week off break for Tabata to rest. Obviously, Finral showing up is pretty cool. Everybody loves Finral. I'm more curious as to, like, who's going to show up that could turn the fight, or are they going to run? Because I can definitely see them running. I think one fight, if, like, one of the Triad fights is, like, a retreat fight, that'd be pretty cool. Because it would keep one of the Triad pretty hyped up, but it also would really... It would make it so they can't also end the rituals. They would have to kind of come back. I think that would be pretty sick. Like, maybe they have to go away, another gate is open, but they have to reconvene and figure out how to stop Xenon again. I don't really know. Either way, definitely a good chapter. I like this a lot. I thought this was really sick. I really want to know what's up with the Devil Hearts. If, like, the Devil Heart is, like, a rank indicator or a power level indicator, because there's clearly something about it, strength and devil-wise, that makes it significant. Because not only is it, like, important to their clearly, like, a power thing, but it adds like such a big plus to their fighting capabilities. If they you have to destroy the heart to kill them. You can't just cut them in half and cut them up like the twins. But anyway, other than that, comment below, thumbs up the video, a friend, like button, subscribe button, check out my other videos. Other than that, appreciate everyone who's already subscribed, and thank you all for listening. Bye.